So I'm going to begin talking about Armistice Day, Veterans Day. And when I was a kid, men my age were veterans of World War II. They became, later in life, known as the greatest generation. And perhaps they were. They were also the generation of Archie Bunker. They fought the last war of morality, and they could not understand how young adults, when I was a child, could refuse to run off to fight when Uncle Sam came calling. At one point, we had 500,000, that's 500,000 people, soldiers, men mostly, soldiers fighting in Vietnam. Most of that 500,000 went because they were drafted and they had no choice. But those who went, either because they believed or because they couldn't figure out how to dodge the draft, came home to jeers from those who, for them, it was an unjust war, a war which, it has been established and admitted to, was fought on provocations that were completely fabricated in a place they could not find on a map for reasons that had nothing to do with them. The greatest generation couldn't fathom this, and those who fought against U.S. involvement in the war could not understand why anyone would go willingly or at all. And those who went had a hard time with those who wouldn't. Phil Oakes wrote many of the best-known anti-war, anti-Vietnam War songs, but one of his lesser-known lyrics, Our Lady, captures this best. Soldiers disillusioned from the war. Sarcastic students tell them not to fight no more. And they argue through the night. Black is black and white is white. Walk away both knowing they are right. And it was black or white. I remember going to an anti-war rally 50 years ago, where some were chanting, "Vietnam is gonna win! Ho, ho, Ho Chi Minh!" And this troubled me. In fact, it shocked me. As a 10-year-old, I did not want my country to lose. I just wanted us to get out of a war we had no business fighting. But sides had to be chosen. If you are not part of the problem, the slogan went, if you are not part of the solution, the slogan went, you are part of the problem. If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And so in my solution, you became part of the problem, and I became part of your problem. And while soldiers were part of one's solution, they were also very much part of another's problem. There was no hero's welcome for them. They came home confused, frustrated, and confronted by those who called them pawns, baby killers, and worse, if such a thing is possible. But now we know better. There is no draft, so at least in theory, the only ones who go are the ones who want to go, in theory. And we make a point now of thanking our veterans. Yet there are almost 50,000 homeless veterans, and the suicide rate among veterans is a horrifying 22 a day, or at least it was 5 years ago when they counted. And the suicide rate among young veterans has tripled. But at least we thank them now. I thank them for their service, and I thank you, if you're among them, I especially thank you for your service. I thank them, and you perhaps, for their bravery, even when they were scared out of their minds. I also selfishly thank them for going so I don't have to. I didn't have to. I thank them for making those split-second life-and-death decisions, some of which were horribly wrong in the moment, and which will or may or might haunt them for the rest of their lives, for making the decision and taking the actions that often result in PTSD. They did so, and I did not have to. For this, I am profoundly and selfishly grateful. And I thank them, and you if you served, for service to our country, and for fighting for our freedom, which is both cliche and true. I also thank them and you, if you served, for putting your lives on the line, even in wars that were futile and ill-advised, even for fighting in wars that were just plain wrong. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying here is I'm not just thanking those who fight in the wars I liked, or who fought in the wars I liked, or supported, or didn't protest against. If they put their lives on the line, or you put your life on the line wearing our uniform, I thank them and you, even if I curse out the decision makers who put them and you in harm's way. We have learned something from the travails of my youth. It would be nice, though, to think of our veterans on more than just one day a year. So I'm starting now the day before, even though it is technically Veterans Day. And I sincerely hope that we remember to thank our veterans on the day after. And maybe the day after that. And maybe the week or month after that. This has been David Block. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.